The San Francisco 49ers have officially drafted defensive tackle Alfred Collins, a guy that has absolute superstar caliber upside, and today we're going to talk about what this guy brings to the 49ers. I'm excited to talk about this guy. Collins was one of my favorite defensive tackles coming out of this class. Collins, 6'5.5", 340 pounds. The guy is an absolute monster. And we've seen guys like this, right? Guys that are just bigger than people, guys that are stronger than people, guys that move the way they probably should not move at a specific size. We've seen guys like this over the past couple of seasons go fairly high. Last year, it was Texas defensive tackle T'Vondre Sweat, who ended up going super high, who had that same body structure as Alfred Collins. This year, obviously, Collins ended up going in the second round. And we're going to talk about what this guy has flashed on tape. So I'm excited about this one. Let's just get right into it. So one of the things you're going to see right away on tape is Collins is a very, very solid run defender. Oftentimes, you're going to see this guy be able to get in front of guys, stay upright, and just basically blow plays up. Here's a great example of a zone play where he's the backside reach of the left tackle. He does a phenomenal job being able to stay in front of that left tackle. And as he gets chopped here, he's going to have the athleticism to kind of stay up, right? He's going to have that athleticism to be able to stay upright. Notice left tackle, left guard are running zone towards the right. So both guys basically have this reach block. 58 has to get to the inside of the D tackle, while number 60, the left tackle, has to reach in front of Collins. And Collins does a phenomenal job staying right in front of this guy. Mirrors the two offensive linemen, stays in front of it, stays within the B gap. He does end up getting chopped, but he does a phenomenal job being able to just get right back up. And he basically makes the play on the running back. Given the fact this guy is as big as he is, as strong as he is, Collins should not be able to do some of the things he does do on tape. The way he's able to just try to bully people, but at the same time, he's quick enough. It's just impressive as hell. Here's another example of him doing a really, really good job. Left tackle has a down block. You're essentially going to run what looks like counter towards the left. To me, the one thing with counter, especially when you're on the front side, is you basically have a down block, but you do see Collins do a phenomenal job by taking on the down block here by the right tackle. Just the way he's able to get those hands into this guy, the way he's able to shut it down is very, very impressive. The physicality, I mean, look at that. Look at the length, really flash on tape on this one. Right hand, left hand lands perfectly, and look at that bench press right there, right? Collins kind of goes back a little bit as well, but keep in mind the tackle has a little bit more room as he kind of makes contact here with Collins. Phenomenal job being able to keep this guy off of him. Absolutely love how he defends the run on this one, gets off the block, and he's going to get in there and blow the play up. The San Francisco 49ers got an absolute steal, in my opinion, with Collins. You got a guy in Collins who's arguably the best run defender in this class. The leverage he plays with is really, really nice as well. How he's able to get off blocks, how he's able to beat people at the point of attack. Here's another one. You're going to get a power run towards the left. The guard here is going to end up pulling, and the center is actually going to have a back block here on the defensive tackle. So when the center starts to scrape over here towards the right, Collins recognizes that. He understands exactly what's going to happen within this play. He recognizes that number 77 has a down block, and he's going to get the hands right to number 77, and look at him control the chest. Look at him create that separation. I know it's kind of hard to see. You got that field goal pull that's kind of in the way. The camera angle also isn't great, right? It'd be better if we could see it from the all-22. But you can see Collins create that separation between him and 77. He controls the block, gets off the block, throws 77 to the side. He's going to get his hands into the running back. And just like that, he's going to blow this play up, and the play picks up no yards. One of the things that I think the 49ers had to do in this draft class was improve the defensive line. You know, you got Nick Bosa, who's an elite player at that edge position. But outside of that, the 49ers kind of lack some talent, right? And they moved on from Javon Hargrave. Obviously, that never really worked out. But they needed to replace some of these guys. And being able to draft two defensive linemen with huge upside with the first two picks, it just made a ton of sense, right? And the thing with both of these guys that the Niners ultimately drafted is both of them are really, really good run defenders, right? Collins, of course, phenomenal run defender, as well as the Georgia defensive end, Williams, another really, really good run defender. And both guys have a ton of upside. Both guys are very difficult to block as well, right? They're difficult to move. Collins, to me, just has so much upside, and I really like the pick for the 49ers. Now, I will also state this. For as good as a run defender that Alfred Collins is, he does have to still continue to develop the pass rush. He's not a guy that's generally shown us that he is a finished product and a finished pass rush. But I do also think that one of the things with Texas specifically is that he played a lot of nose tackle. And if you're a nose tackle in the NFL, you generally are going to struggle to have those true one-on-one opportunities. But there are flashes on tape like this play here where Collins just goes right over the top of the guard here. right? Collins does a phenomenal job with the movement. He's going to get out of his stance, recognizes the center is going to back block over here. Left guard's going to block him essentially, which means the left guard essentially is going to be the guy that's going to block him. And look at him just hezzy here. And then look at him go right over the top of 53. I mean, that's impressive, right? For a guy as big as he is. The hezzy move here is basically a fake towards the right. You see it right here. He's going to fake right and he's going to come back left. And then his right arm also ends up landing on the shoulder pad. And then the left arm kind of comes over the top. So that's a pass rush move right there. Right, of course, it is against the run, but do keep in mind, this guy didn't have the one-on-one opportunities that a lot of other people have had. And I do think you have to factor that in when you analyze football players. You have to realize what scheme and system they're in, how it may have put, disadvantaged a specific guy, and, what's he going to translate as he gets in the NFL, right? How does he translate? And what kind of role will he play for your team? Right, and we saw this with T'Vondre Sweat last year, right? The guy was a phenomenal player for the Titans in his first season. He was an early second-round pick. He didn't have a lot of pass rushing opportunities, similar to Collins. He also played a lot of nose tackle just last season for Texas. But when Collins was in a spot where he was able to go one-on-one like this one here, right? You line him up in the 2-eye, he's going to have a one-on-one with the guard because you do have two other guys over here to the left side. Collins oftentimes was able to beat the guys in front of him, right? Just doing a phenomenal job. Now I want to go ahead and just show you guys a couple more pass rushing snaps from Collins. Now before we go forward, I want to just take a second to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this channel because this content would not be possible without Underdog. If you guys have never utilized Underdog before, trust me, man, you guys are missing out. I don't do traditional fantasy sports that often. I did do one league this year, but generally speaking, I'm not really doing it anymore. And that's mostly because of Underdog. Underdog has this game that I really, really enjoy. It's called Pick'em. Essentially, you're going to go out there and just make picks that you think are going to be right. They'll have pretty much every pick you can think of for every player, and they have multiple categories as well. So an example would be, I think Aiden O'Connell is going to throw for 125 yards. And you're essentially just going to pick higher on that, right? I think he'll have more than 125 yards. You might say, hey, Dak Prescott's going to have at least 2 touchdowns. I'll pick higher on that. You might say Caleb Williams is going to have a rushing touchdown. And some of those stats also give you multipliers, right? So usually for quarterbacks rushing and in, right? That's something most quarterbacks aren't doing every single week. You'll get like a 4x multiplier on that. So depending on the multiplier, depending on how many picks, you can turn $5 into $400, $1,000, right? Whatever it ends up being. Obviously, it depends on the multiplier, but Underdog to me is one of those places that I pretty much do every single week at this point. Very fun. It makes like watching the Jets and the Dolphins without Tua. It makes them interesting, right? So check out Underdog. If you guys have never used them before, it is the best place. Trust me when I say that. Go to underdogfantasy.com, use my promo code that you guys see on the screen, or use the app. I recommend the app. So let's get right back into the content. I want to look at 2 or 3 more plays where the guy does a pretty good job as a pass rusher. And again, you got to look at the upside with a guy like Collins, right? You got to think about when is this guy going to hit that peak, right? When is he going to hit that true top of his game, right? Because he's nowhere near that right now. And he's young still, right? He hasn't played a lot of football, but you do get plays like this where you do see a little bit of upside. Now, he is out of position, in my opinion, on this one, but do understand, there's a lot of teams that play this 3-man front. Kentucky played this as well. A couple other teams also kind of do this, but you're going to see Collins do a really nice job where he's going to fake out the tackle, right? He's going to hesitate to the outside, right? Fakes outside, comes back inside, and you see him just get right past the right tackle on this one. So really, really good job. You also see him lock in. Right arm's going to essentially pull that shoulder forward. Left arm's going to come over the top. Right? Phenomenal job here by Collins to be able to swim over the top of the tackle. Right? Love how he's able to make this pass rush essentially happen, and he gets a sack on the quarterback. This right here is exactly what you want to see from Collins. Right? As a pass rusher, you want him to be able to really get after it. You want him to show more, pass rushing moves. And I will say this, the one move this guy does go to is going to be the swim move. And that makes sense, right? He's such a big football player. Most people are going to assume that this guy's going to try to bull rush you, right? Most people assume that, hey, he's going to lean into me, so I need to lean back into him, right? And that's how he's going to win. He's going to have to basically use those guys' momentum, right? So if a guy leans into him, the momentum is going to be towards him. And the swim move makes sense, especially pulling with that right hand, right? So again, this guy understands that the one move that's going to work, the one counter to his bull rush, it's going to be the swim move. So again, just a really, really good job by Collins to be able to utilize that. And this did allow him to rack up a couple of pressures, a couple of sacks. You know, the development for me with Collins is going to be that he just has to get a little bit quicker with the pass rush. Right? He has to be a little bit quicker with that first step. And again, this is developmental things that he will be able to improve as he gets in the NFL. I think the 49ers have done a pretty good job developing some of their defensive linemen over the years. I think they have a really good defensive line coach this year specifically. And with a guy like Alfred Collins, this guy's best football is definitely still in front of him. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. We are definitely going to be covering the 49ers on this channel this season. I will probably be doing more content this year than we have over the past couple of seasons. Collins is a guy that I really, really like, so we'll be following him in preseason during the regular season. And Akil Williams, another guy that I really, really like. So we'll get into both of their tapes over the course of this season. If you guys are not subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys next time with another video.